Yo, what's up everybody?
Welcome to our channel and our adventures here in Turkey. If you've been following with our vlogs, you'll know that today we're going to be visiting the ancient city of Ephesus.
To get to Ephesus from Izmir, you can either catch a tour or catch a taxi, or if you have a car, that's a great option too. But Yen and I are going for the much more budget-friendly option today of getting public transport.
Yeah, we're staying in Karataş, and Ephesus is located in Selcuk. So first we need to go to our local tram stop and then catch a train. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Yen and I have found that getting around Turkey is very convenient. The infrastructure is really good for public transport. All you need for most of the main cities is one of these cards, and normally it's like if you're in Istanbul, it'll be an Istanbul card. Here we're in Izmir, it's an Izmir card. You get these at the main train station, so they're not available at all different stops. But once you've got it, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So we're just about to get on to our stop now. We've made our way over to Selcuk train station, which is one of the main ones, and we're heading over to Topel. This is going to be the longest stretch of our journey, and through our research we actually found that there is a direct route from Izmir over to Selcuk. However, that train runs very infrequently from Basmana to Denizli. That's the route that you're going to have to take. Whereas this one runs very frequently, and that really appealed to Yen and I. So these cards, if you're wondering the costs, cost 15 lira each, but there's no credit on top, so you're gonna have to add some. And then each of the fares vary from 650 lira to 11 lira, and it just depends on which kind of train route that you take. So we are ready to go.
Yes.
Let's head on out.
We just have a couple of train changes along the way though.
Oh yes, that's right. We've got 2 train changes today, and then we're gonna be there.
And if you're wondering how to check all the routes and train times and tram times and all that sort of thing, just use Google Maps. It's really good here in Turkey, and it tells you exactly where to go.
Bit of a change in plan, guys. When we were on the original train, we noticed that it kept flashing last stop Chumavasa, which is not the right stop for us. And so we got off there and we were asking some nice people, and they were saying you need to stick to the South Lines and hop on a different train. And so maybe the Google route hasn't been updated or something like that. Yeah, but we're now back on another train now and heading over to Topel, where we'll be able to get off and transfer over to Selcuk. So a bit of a convoluted journey this morning, but it's all good.
Success, we've made it to Topel, but unfortunately because of all the debacle with the route change, the next train to take us over to Selcuk won't arrive until about 1 o'clock. And we're not alone in this. A whole lot of people seem to have been caught off with the
Yep, there's a lot of people with us.
with the train route change, so that's a bit unfortunate. We have also just checked downstairs to see if there was like food or a vending machine or anything. Unfortunately not either. So we're just going to chill out here, wait for our train, and then we'll be on our way again.
Oh man, we have made it!
Yes, we finally got to Selcuk, and I swear this must be an anomaly because normally in Turkey public transport is very straightforward and easy, but it seems like today of all days it just wasn't. Even when we were on the train, so many people were like, is this one going to Selcuk or is this one going to Izmir? So a good tip is that you should definitely ask around, because if they're making announcements in Turkish you wouldn't know otherwise. And even the sign that normally shows the stops wasn't even working. So yeah, finally made it though. And I believe the rides on the trains cost us a total of 17 lira.
Yeah.
Right now, we're gonna go find ourselves some food, and then we need to catch a dolmus or a taxi over to Ephesus.
All right, let's head on out. finally, after 4.5 hours, we've made it over to our meal spot. This is called Ejder, which actually means dragon in Turkish, and it's the owner's last name. We were just chatting to him just before.
Yeah.
And on the way here is a real cool like remains of an old aqueduct, and right up at the top there are some storks who've made a nest up there, which is also really cool to see.
Yeah, they look so unusual. We don't have them back in New Zealand.
No, we don't. And this is something that I've been thinking about for a little while now. Chicken wings, and I've been missing my mum's chicken wings from back home, so this is gonna hit the cravings today. Let me just grab one of these.
Ooh, it smells really good.
It smells, yeah, it does. Okay, let's go in for a bite. Oh man.
That must be so satisfying.
That is hitting the 4.5 hour spot right over there. Oh man, the chicken is so juicy, and I love the like slightly charcoaly flavor that's on the outside of it, and it's just seasoned so well. That is incredible.
There were 2 mushroom items on the menu, and I went with the one that had cheese. It also smells amazing, and it's on a very hot plate. Got myself some pilaf as well. Let's have a try.
Oh, that looks very cheesy.
Look at that. Wow. So delicious. The cheese is not super strong or anything, but it has melted perfectly over those delicious earthy mushrooms. Mushrooms have been cooked really well too. They've got a nice little chew to them. But yes, creamy, delicious, so good. Chase it up with some rice. Definitely the fuel we needed after that long journey. It normally doesn't take that long. It should have only taken 2 hours if there weren't all the issues with the trains changing their routes and then the platform changes and all that. But whatever, we've got here, and then, yeah, got a meal to enjoy now.
Look over there, there's some more storks up there.
There's so many of them, and they've just all built their nests there. They're really big birds. Like, you can see them from right across the street, and they already look big. We're catching the dolmus now over to Efes. A dolmus is like a mini bus shared taxi.
Yeah, this is at the Selcuk autogar. Only about a 5-minute ride later, and look at where we are, guys.
Finally arrived at Ephesus now to get our tickets, but for our entire journey by public transport, what does that make it? 27 lira total, I believe, excluding the cards. So way cheaper than going by either taxi or a tour.
Yeah, I think the tours range from 100 to 200 NZD.
Yes, so you can imagine that per person. It's a huge saving going by public transport as long as you can just get yourself there.
Ready to go in, 200 lira per person. Can't wait to see this place after this long wait of anticipation.
Yes, and this has been on the travel bucket list for a very long time.
It has been. Let's head on in.
Only a few minutes in and we have already been greeted by the Great Theatre. It is gigantic. We've absolutely loved looking at the amphitheaters during our time here in Turkey so far, and this is by far the biggest one that we have seen. It is incredible. One thing to note is that locally Ephesus is known as Efes. So if you're asking anyone about directions or any of that kind of thing, just always ask for Efes instead. It's probably going to be a little bit better known. But yeah, Ephesus, amazing. Its origins date back something crazy, like somewhere around like 10th century BC or something like that. It is very ancient. But what we see from this day is a bit further along down the track, maybe around the Roman Empire sort of period.
And the guy from running.
Thankfully, some respite from that heat. We've got some shade here next to the Library of Celsius. It is 38 degrees Celsius right now today, and it is just so hot. But this library is probably the most impressive ruins of Ephesus that remains, and it is just super impressive to look at. The library used to hold 12,000 scrolls, but unfortunately the interior was destroyed by a fire sometime around the 3rd century AD. And all that was left was this facade. The library was commissioned in 2nd century by Tiberius Julius Aquila and later completed by his heirs. It was built to commemorate his father, Tiberius Julius Celsus Ptolemeus, who had died the same year, aged 70. Celsus was the governor of Asia Minor, and he was buried in a sarcophagus under the library. In later years, the library became purely decorative, and when it was excavated in 1904, his sarcophagus was discovered. The facade was reconstructed using fragments found during excavations.
One of the things that costs a little bit extra but that we've heard is totally worth it is coming up and checking out the terrace house. It's very close to the library, so where it was, just walked up a couple of meters, and we've just purchased our tickets now. It's 85 lira per person. Pretty excited to check out this place. Apparently it's where like all the very wealthy people of the time lived. Hey Gate.
Hello, what can you see on your side?
A basilica. What's on your side?
A lot of tables. I think they're reconstructing some of the marble pieces or something. It's like one gigantic jigsaw puzzle.
What I really like about this place is that even though you see a lot of rubble around you, if you use your imagination, then what you're really going to be able to visualize is how grand it would have been back then. If the walls weren't covered in frescoes, then they would have most likely have been covered in the marble structure that Yen was saying was the jigsaw piece puzzle before. It's incredibly large, so we still have a few more floors to cover. And just imagine back in the 1960s when people were excavating this area, how impressed they would have been when they were like, whoa, I found a fresco.
I found a whole villa.
Dig a little bit more, I found a villa. That would have been crazy. Hey, this has got to be one of the most impressive places, right?
It is a very impressive archaeological site. And what I love about it is that it has these glass flooring, so you can look directly what's below your feet. We saw this mosaic just before, which has who we think might be Poseidon. I'm not quite sure. You guys have a look, see what you think.
Directly opposite the terrace houses is the Temple of Hadrian, and it's quite a small one because it's only the opening entrance of the original temple, but it looks very grand still. It was first uncovered in the 1950s and they restored it then using the original materials, but they had to supplement some of it with modern materials. We just walked all the way to the end and it is a gigantic complex.
It is.
Yeah, it took us ages to go there and back, and we still haven't covered the entire area yet. And if you're wondering how Ephesus was originally founded, there's a cool legend behind it, and that it was founded by the Amazonians, you know, the warrior woman, and it was named after their queen at the time, Ephesia. And got a nerdy fact for you guys, Wonder Woman was in fact an Amazonian as well.
Yes,
from the DC comics.
We have spent a good 4 hours here in Ephesus and it is time to head on back out. We have returned over to the entrance that we started at again. And when you're here in Ephesus and walking those marble streets, it really does feel like you're transported back to the past with all these incredible structures that have been re-erected for us to get to see. We do want to go and find the remains of the Temple of Artemis, although we have heard it is literally only a single column that is left of there. But because it used to be one of the seven, well, it was one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world, it just feels like we should go and check it out. So that is back towards the town of Selcuk, and we'll head over that way now.
We're at the Temple of Artemis. Unfortunately, it is closed. I thought it would just be open the entire time, but nope. What a shame. I'm gonna head on back via taxi now. So if we did manage to see it, this is what it would have looked like, and we did some reading online and it did say it was always open, but unfortunately there was that gate once we arrived there that closed it all off from us eating.
And since it's only like pretty much a single column, we're not missing all that much.
That's true also. So we're just heading on our way back now in the taxi. Alright guys, so we are now back and ready to catch the train. Unfortunately, I think we were probably charged a little bit over what it should have been for the taxi ride. It cost us 200 lira. I'm sure it would have been a lot cheaper on meter.
Yeah, but someone here was super desperate to go see it, even though we knew what to expect and even though we were supposed to have been able to get there before it closed, which Google said 7 o'clock, online said it was open 24 hours. We were there 10 minutes earlier and it wasn't open. The taxi guy agreed to wait for us there and then send us back to the Selcuk town. So I think, yeah, probably just charge a little bit extra. Instead though, you could definitely just catch a dolmus back to Selcuk from Ephesus.
Yeah, that would have cost you 10 lira per person.
It would have been much, much cheaper. But we are back anyway and we have got our train to catch back home. So if you guys enjoyed this video, we hope you know what to do. Give us a like, leave us a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you can, please share our videos, it really helps our channel.
Alright, catch you everyone.
See you in the next vlog.
See ya.